the age of 20?
Yeah, you can, but as a coach, you're looking to see what they're doing off the ball. They always talk about the 1%ers, stuff that other people don't want to do. So it's always away from the ball. It's when the ball goes away from you is when we were looking at you.
Okay.
You're tying in, or you're staying with your mate, you're staying connected.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, or kick chase, kick pressure, all the stuff nobody likes doing. That's what coaches look at.
Yeah. And does it take a special coach who sort of manages those players to look at that, or is it the player that has to become more accountable to do that? How do you get a player to get better at that? Because it's not easy.
It's just a mindset, mate. You got to. I think it's about repetition. It's muscle memory, and if you do it at training, you'll do it at the game.
Yeah.
So, and with the coaches, like you got good man managers like Wayne Bennett, Billy Aiken, Des and that. For some reason, they've got good history at it. You just want to play for them, and that's what they do.
Yeah.
They get the best out of mediocre players. They make them, lift their level.
Yeah.
And as a coach, that's what you're going to do.
Do the players know what those coaches are going to be like beforehand, and go, I'm really looking forward to being coached by, whether it's Des, whether it's Bellamy, whether it's
them blokes got the runs on the board.
Yeah.
So they got high standards, and that's what they live by. And I think they get the players to drive it. It's easy to stand there and dictate as a coach. If you do that all the time, it just falls on deaf ears. And the best coaches let the players sort of run the standards and make everyone accountable for their own job. But like Des, he's very good at getting the players to know their job. You know what I mean? So, and that's just from repetition. Heaps of reps, muscle memory. Yeah. It gets boring sometimes, but that makes you a better player.
But doesn't that sort of go across to every part of everyone's life, from work to business to
definitely
anything that they do in life? Like it's the same rule, right? Yeah. It's the same rule that applies to everything. And if you do the work, you're going to get the results.
Definitely. And look, all them good coaches, they're always talking about what you're doing, not just when you're at training, it's what you do away from training, to try and get that right.
Yeah.
Because you spend a lot of time away from football, and you need to. You can't be, rugby league 24/7 or drive you mad, because you end up hating the game. So when you're away, spend that time with your family, do what you got to do, get a hobby, whatever you like doing. Just get something to do, and once you're away, you focus on that. But once you come to training, it's good to have fun, muck around and that. But once it's time to knuckle down, you knuckle down, and the job at hand, and then you work hard, and then once training's finished, you do your recovery, your rehab, your prehab, do all the little extras, and that makes you a good player.
Yep.
And also it makes you, it makes you a good person as well. Normally, if you're a good person, what you do off the field is normally what you do on the field. If you're a good bloke off the field and like helping others, you'll do it in the game.
Yeah. It's funny because I was just over in the States, and I got the chance to interview a lot of the top performers, some of the greats in bodybuilding, and they were just, when it was time to train, they were very, very tenacious. They'd get in there.
Are they LR, or are they on the Les Boyds and that? Are they LR natural, or are they on the Les Boyds? Because that's not training. Boyds. Come on.
Oh, look, regardless of that,
they're wind assisted. It's like the Fremantle doctor.
Regardless of that, they were professional in their field, and to be fair, everyone, it was an even playing field. There was no test, even playing field.
Six again.
But one of the biggest things that you see that is the common denominator of anyone that's successful in sort of in professional sports or in high performance is there's no safety net for those individuals. So if you have a look at footballers, most of them come from low socioeconomic standards, right? Because I give but what I'm saying about is like, and this is where I'm going. And I was listening to one of Tony Rallis's interviews, and this is where I bring the point. He's talking about players in Australia wanting to make it overseas in soccer, right? And he said when they're mothered and they're spoon fed here at home, and they're going up against African kids and South American kids that have got no families, that have got to support their family.
Definitely.
They work so much harder. And, when you look at, probably some of the best footy players that have ever played, back in the 80s, 90s, and even, to recent memory of players, you can tell the ones that are hungry are the ones that were brought up hard and tough, because if you've got to feed a family or you've got to support, extended people within the family. That's
the way of the jungle, mate, you know what I mean?
100%. So you have to, and most bodybuilders that I interviewed there, they came from nothing.
Yeah.
And they had to work hard with no safety net. And that pushed them to lift the standards and go beyond the means of what it takes to become the best.
I think it's a bit different now, like, because the players now, I think it's a generation thing too. Also, a lot of them come straight out of school. They've got no life skills. They've never worked a day in their life, which is not their fault.
Yeah.
But that's just the way it is, and then they end up getting a big whack. And it's hard for them to hear criticism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've never been knocked back before. They've always been the best. So when you talk to them, you can't say certain things to them anymore.
Yeah.
So it is hard, and it's a different generation from, when I come up. Like, if a first grader spoke to me, I'd just do anything they'd say. You know what I mean? A little bit different now. They're a bit cheekier now.
Yeah.
And, they talk back, but I think it's just the generation today, They're always on their iPhones, and it's hard for them to social media. But they live and die by that. And that's the way.
And sometimes you got to look at them and go, like, where's the self-assessment? Where's the realist within them to have a look at themselves to see, are they delusional? Like if you have a look at some players, right?
Yeah, but some of them, if they don't change their ways, they won't last long in the game. I think the average first grader only lasts about 35 games. I think that's the average first grader. So it's not a long career, mate.
Yeah.
So, and when you're playing, everyone loves you. Once you finish playing, nobody remembers you.
Yeah.
So for me, it's all about being humble and and doing the right things. And because once you finish playing, you can be the best player when you're playing, but once you finish, everyone hates you.
You're yesterday's hero,
mate. If you're an idiot, everyone brushes you, mate. No one likes you, mate. And then you fall on hard times, and they have a hard time with mental problems. And
do you see that a lot? Does that happen a lot?
Yeah, heaps, mate. Heaps. Yeah. So, and it's hard for them. Like, when they're flying, it's all good, but you try to rally around them, and because they're in the football circle, and you want to help them out. So, and they do a good job. Mental league with stuff like that, not just mental awareness about blokes on hard times. Don't have to be a bad bloke. I'm just saying, like, you still be a good bloke and have hard times. But the mental league do a great job going around helping people. They're falling on bad times, and just trying to rally around them. So pretty proud.
You said something important early on. You said family, right? So really, the family keep you humble and grounded. And if you have a look at anyone that's successful, they've got something, whether it's their mum, whether it's their father, and that's the family that sort of kept them grounded or made them go to that next level. When you look at those players that weren't humble, do you think they went against the family, or was it something that or did their egos take over because of the sport, and where the sport made them feel they were?
I can't answer that for them. Yeah, speak for them. So, but for me, it's always been about being humble and always respecting my family. And I've been very grateful that every game